mate.
Hello, mate.
How are you? You all good?
Yourself?
Tasha's looking strong.
Oh, it's going well. I should have started about 2 months ago, really. I'm quite fair head, so when I whip it off, like I look 10 years old again.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
No, it's looking good. What's the reason behind it?
To be honest, I've always liked the idea behind Movember, prostate cancer, men's health.
Yeah.
And I don't think really until recently, like since I've come away from football, like I've always, throughout my career, I've always had periods of time, like obviously when I got diagnosed with bowel cancer, and just injuries and stuff, where I've been in contract, so that's never been a worry. Always knew that I'm going to get back playing at some point. But I think definitely this summer, being away from the game for 2 or 3 months was a bit like, I struggled. I think struggled with routine, struggled with like not being around the lads as much, like just filling my day with stuff that wasn't normal. So that really made me think about it. When obviously Movember was coming up, I was like, you know what, I really want to give this a bash. And obviously having a handlebar Tash, it's surprising at how many men want to speak to you. But then you dig a bit deeper and you realise that we don't talk, you don't talk about how you are, and especially us in football, like we're just having a chat about
of course,
you being out of the team and not played as much as you want to play, like that's a normal ongoing occurrence that you see. So just wanted, behind the Tash, the real reason was to dig a bit deeper into men's health and why we don't talk as men. Yeah,
no, of course, and it's one of those things where, especially in the football environment, it's one of those macho ego things, and no one wants to show weakness. But sometimes you do just need to talk. And
definitely, I think within football, it's more of a, definitely for myself. Like obviously, with stuff I've been through, people have always said to me like, "Oh, how have you coped?" And I was like, "Well, I've always been okay. Like I've always had my family around me. I've always had close friends. I've always been a good group of lads." But it's like the more I speak to people, it's like they don't want to say that they're struggling, or because they're worried, what the club might think, or what the manager might think. Might think he's weak, might think he's not ready for the fight at the weekend, sort of thing. That's not the case. Like and managers can struggle, people behind the scenes, owners can struggle. Like it doesn't have to just be keep quiet because I'm going to keep my place in the team. Like it happens right at the top level, and obviously it definitely happens at the bottom level. So
it's one of those things where men's mental health there's so many things that can affect it. Finances, like relationships, changing job, different things can affect so many different people in different ways, and people handle it in different ways, as we said, and being quiet is probably one of the worst things you can do.
And I'm going through something now a bit closer to home where someone admitted to me, like, I wish I'd have got this, gone and got checked sooner, sort of thing. And that's always the message ever since I got diagnosed with sort of bowel cancer. It was like, get checked early because hopefully the outcome is better. And obviously that's raising awareness this month is to don't be shy, don't be scared, make sure you get checked, make sure you speak to your mates, and there's nothing wrong with not being okay. Speaking about it, funny enough, actually makes you feel better. And that's the message that we really need to try and get across.
Like you say, it's a weight off your chest, isn't it, at the end of the day? And it's that not knowing that can sometimes cause the most problems.
I've spent a lot of time throughout my career like in the car, like I've done so many miles on the motorway, and I think especially over the last 2 or 3 years, the amount of times that I just get in the car and the radio's not on, but I'm making like hour-long phone calls. And that's my getaway. So when I get out that car, like I feel good. Like instead of like not speaking to anyone, constantly thinking, looking at the road for like 3 hours, I get home and then I probably take stuff indoors to my family. And it's like that, for me, that's my counselling, that's my sort of therapy in a way. Go and have a laugh with my my cousin, my mum, my dad, like my mates. And then when I get home, I'm Angus. I'm ready to be a dad. I'm ready to have a laugh and a joke. Whereas sometimes where I've come home from training, had a bad training session, like not spoke to anyone, and I'm in a bad mood as soon as I walk through the door. It's not good for anyone.
No, of course not. And you don't want to take that home with you. So the fact that you found a way to, it's not even a way of coping or dealing. It makes you feel better just speaking to people, whoever it is, like your family or your friends. You've got that time when you're in the car and to fill it with something positive to make you feel better, and knowing that you're going home in a better place just puts your mind at ease.
Yeah, definitely. And I always felt, especially when I've been through stuff in the past, I always felt like I didn't want to be a burden on someone. I didn't want my mum or dad to stress or worry and stuff. But at the end of the day, they just want what's best for you. So, you know, speaking to them and then them speaking back to you sort of thing, and helping you and advising you and giving you little bits of advice, it's only going to make you feel better, and it'll probably make them feel better because they know that they've spoke to you.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's all across the world, really. It's not just a football environment, it's just men in general need to speak more, need to try and be more open. And as we said earlier, it's not a sign of weakness.
No.
It can be a positive step forward for people, speaking out and talking, and it can solve a lot of problems earlier.
Yeah. Men's suicide is crazy when, you know, you actually look at the numbers and look at how many people take their own lives when, you know, if they'd have had a conversation, just picked up the phone, gone round to a friend's house, you know, things could be, you know, life could be a lot happier, and things, the outcome could be so different. So.
Yeah, I saw something the other day which made me stop and think. It was someone said that it takes 8 minutes for someone to feel like they are being heard, or they feel like that relationship is beneficial.
Yeah.
So that 8 minutes of just speaking to someone can turn someone's day around, really. Yeah. It's not a long time.
And realistically, we've all got 8 minutes. Like I said to mates, I'm sorry, I was so busy, this, that and the other, but I'm sure there was 8 minutes in that day where I could have picked up the phone and, you know, helped someone.
Yeah.
And we're all going through our own stuff, so I understand it's not always just as easy as, I need to call him because he might be struggling, sort of thing. You know, pick up the phone, 8 minutes, save someone's life.
Yeah, it's even simple as a text, isn't it? I know a few people are going through some stuff, and you almost like, you don't want to keep pushing and being like, are you okay? Are you okay? Yeah, bombarding them, but a simple text here and there going, look, just thinking about you, I hope you're okay. That can just brighten up their day, even if they're going through some really tough times.
Yeah, I definitely think with, you know, us as football players, I don't think we fully realise the platform that we have. You know, we've got thousands of people watching us, you know, on a weekly basis, and if we show that, you know, we're speaking out, we're using, or we've got different tips and different advice that, you know, they can tune into, then, you know, we can definitely use our platform for the greater good.
We're in that position, very luckily, to be role models for people, and they see us twice a week. Even if you bump into someone in the supermarket, have a little chat, you can change someone's day just by speaking to them. And I think they don't realise that everyone's going through something.
Yeah.
So players on the pitch, no one means to make a mistake, but they might be going through something at home, something with their family, with, as we said earlier, finances, different things, and that mistake might be a roll-on effect of something that they haven't spoken about.
I'm sure if I look back at some of the mistakes I've made, you know, whether it was a sleepless night because my little one was up the night before or something like that, you know, no one ever means to make mistakes, whether it's on the pitch or just in life. But normally it's a knock-on effect because of something else that's happened in your life.
Yeah.
But I definitely think that fans look up to us, like you say, as role models. So whether we're struggling, they can help us, and then obviously if they're struggling, roles reversed, we can help them, whether that's by taking 2 minutes after a game to sign an autograph or sign someone's book, get a picture like it does. They go home being, I've got a picture of Wardy today. Like, I know what I was like as a kid going to watch Southampton play with my dad, and I remember meeting, you know, James Beattie, Matt Letizia, and I was like buzzing going home, like looking at the autograph. Like,
that's the thing. I think as footballers we almost forget what it was like to be a kid.
Yeah.
And forget what you were like sitting in the stand watching players, watching people run around and do things, and wanting to be out there. And as we said, like, footballers are role models. You do have that, not responsibility, but that chance to help people and put a smile on people's faces and use our platforms, as you say, to help people.
Yeah, I've definitely enjoyed I haven't enjoyed being out of football for this long. But obviously I've filled my days differently, you know, my fitness work and stuff, get in the morning, go out for coffee in the afternoon sort of thing. But I probably would, where I would spend 5 or 5 or 10 minutes speaking to someone in the coffee shop. Oh, I've got to shoot now, mate. Like, you know, I'm not doing anything else, so why have I got to shoot? I'd probably spend 20 minutes, half an hour. And I think without even realising it, that's definitely made me feel better.
Yeah. Life isn't as straightforward. Obviously, we've had ups and downs. You've unfortunately had some setbacks in life. How have you managed to stay as positive as you are and get through things?
At the time, obviously being 26, did I ever think that I'd be hit with a diagnosis of bowel cancer? No. But you know, I was very fortunate at the time to be at a great club. You know, I was fortunate enough to the doctors and the medical staff there really helped me through it. I had a really close connection with the doctor at the time. He was at every appointment. You know, he'd come around my house for like a cup of tea and stuff. So that really helped me. But also what really helped me, I remember there was one, I think I had an operation, my first operation on a Wednesday. On like, my number was 15 at the time. And minute 15, like they did a big applause and put my name on the scoreboard and stuff. And it was like I was getting sent that by fans and I was seeing it online. And, you know, the lads all wore 15 MacDonald and stuff shirts. And I was just like, you know what, that for me meant so much because I was, you know, I was led there looking at four walls, wishing I'd was anywhere else but these four walls. So, you know, the fans really helped me. Without saying it, my family, my friends were like my closest network, my closest support, and without them, would the journey has been as simple? Probably not. I just know that when I got that all clear, that I really focused, like probably more than I ever have. It was like I was a kid again. I had that hunger to get back on that pitch and prove so many people wrong. So that really helped me.
What about sort of talk us through getting diagnosed? How would you sort of say to someone to help them if they're worried about potentially having bowel cancer? What would you say to them to go get checked and stuff like that?
For me, it was almost an embarrassment because there's a taboo around people taking a toilet. You know, check your poo. And I would never want to just speak to someone, you know, if I didn't know you, I wouldn't be like, oh, by the way, I've had a bit of blood in my toilet or something like that. It just felt like it was like a really taboo-y type topic. But there's no embarrassment with going to the doctors and getting checked. I'm so glad that Hull sort of pushed me to go in and get checked. If I'd have left it any longer, would I be sat here today? And you know, that has a massive knock-on effect, you know, family, friends. So I'd say get checked. The outcome will be the outcome, whether you're in the all clear or whether there's something else going on. You know, you can deal with it, and the doctors are amazing these days, and you know, they'll help you through it. I got told at 15 that I would never play football again through an illness. So I think for me, the reason probably why I never got checked sooner was because I was like, I don't want my career to come to an end. But you know, I'm just so glad that, you know, I did get checked and I caught it earlier, and that's the main thing. If we can catch these illnesses and diseases earlier, the success rate is a lot higher. 100%,
100%. And it's scary to think, like you say, at 15, I remember watching you when you were playing in the 18s at Reading. I was probably 14, and you were playing in the Youth Cup and stuff like that. So to then play with you here at Swindon as well was something special, because it's like, I grew up watching him and now we're playing together. So it's nice, and it's so positive that you've got the all clear and you want to help people now going forward, and with the tash and what we're looking at.
It's not great, I'm not going to lie.
You've got a couple of days and then it can go, unless you're going to keep it.
I actually quite enjoyed it, I'm not going to lie. Like I say, I've had a few more conversations, because a few people have seen me and been like, what's going on there? And I'm like, it's Movember, come on. And then we go into a conversation and it's been enjoyable. I was going to try and diet like Hulk Hogan for today. But the only dye I could get was hair dye, and I was like, my face would be like bright red if I do that.
Massive allergic reaction.
Yeah, literally. I don't think I do that last night. But no, I'm excited to see what's next, and you know, obviously like yourself, hopefully you can get in the team, and you know, hopefully promotions on the cards for the Mighty Reds.
Yeah, that will be nice. Well, let's see where the tash is in a couple of months, and we'll have a catch up.
You never know, do you?